You must never so much think as whether you like it or not, whether it is bearable or not. You must never think of anything except the need, and how to meet it. I have an almost complete disregard of precedent and a faith in the possibility of something better. It irritates me to be told how things have always been done. I defy the tyranny of precedent. I cannot afford the luxury of a closed mind. People should not say that this or that is not worth learning, giving as their reason that it will not be put to use. They can no more know what information they will need in the future than they will know the weather 200 years from today. It is wise statesmanship which suggests that in time of peace we must prepare for war, and it is no less a wise benevolence that makes preparation in the hour of peace for assuaging the ills that are sure to accompany war. I go for anything new that might improve the past. I may sometimes be willing to teach for nothing, but if paid at all, I shall never do a man's work for less than a man's pay. Although its growth may seem to have been slow, it is to be remembered that it is not a shrub, or plant, to shoot up in the summer and wither in the frosts. The Red Cross is a part of us, it has come to stay, and like the sturdy oak, its spreading branches shall yet encompass and shelter the relief of the nation. I may be compelled to face danger, but never fear it, and while our soldiers can stand and fight, I can stand and feed and nurse them. I don't know how long it has been since my ear has been free from the roll of a drum. It is the music I sleep by, and I love it. I shall remain here while anyone remains, and do whatever comes to my hand. I wonder if a soldier ever does mend a bullet hole in his coat. This conflict is one thing I've been waiting for. I'm well and strong and young enough to go to the front. If I can't be a soldier, I'll help soldiers. What armies and how much of war one have seen, what thousands of marching troops, what fields of slain, what prisons, what hospitals, what ruins, what cities in ashes, what hunger and nakedness, what orphanages, what widowhood, what wrongs and what vengeance. I have never worked for fame or praise, and shall not feel their loss as I otherwise would. I have never for a moment lost sight of the humble life I was born to, its small environments, and the consequently little right I had to expect much of myself, and shall have the less to censure, or upbraid myself with for the failures I must see myself make. My business is staunching blood and feeding fainting men, my post the open field between the bullet and the hospital. I sometimes discuss the application of a compress or a wisp of hay under a broken limb, but not the bearing and merits of a political movement. I make gruel, not speeches. I write letters home for wounded soldiers, not political addresses. They can no more know what information they will need in the future than they will know the weather 200 years from today. I went to the Senate, accomplished nothing as usual. An institution or reform movement that is not selfish, must originate in the recognition of some evil that is adding to the sum of human suffering, or diminishing the sum of happiness. Others are writing my biography, and let it rest as they elect to make it. I have lived my life, well and ill, always less well than I wanted it to be, but it is, as it is, and as it has been, so small a thing, to have had so much about it. You glorify the women who made their way to the front to reach you in your misery, and nurse you back to life. The paths of charity are over roadways of ashes. I always tried to succor the wounded until medical aid and supplies could come up. I could run the risk. If I were to speak of war, it would not be to show you the glories of conquering armies but the mischief and misery they strew in their tracks. I am glad to know that somewhere they have learned their duty to their country, and have come up neither cowards nor traitors. When you were weak and I was strong, I toiled for you. Now you are strong and I am weak. Because of my work for you, I ask your aid. I ask the ballot for myself and my sex. As I stood by you, I pray you stand by me and mine. Clarissa Harlowe Barton, December 25, 1821 to April 12, 1912, in North Oxford, Massachusetts, and was named after the titular character of Samuel Richardson's novel Clarissa. Her father was Captain Stephen Barton, a member of the local militia and a selectman politician, who inspired his daughter with patriotism and a broad humanitarian interest. He was a soldier under the command of General Anthony Wayne in his crusade against the indigenous in the Northwest. He was also the leader of progressive thought in the Oxford Village area. Barton's mother was Sarah Stone Barton. Clara Barton was an American nurse who founded the American Red Cross. She was a hospital nurse in the American Civil War, a teacher, and a patent clerk. Since nursing education was not then very formalized and she did not attend nursing school, she provided self-taught nursing care. Barton is noteworthy for doing humanitarian work and civil rights advocacy at a time before women had the right to vote. She was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 1973. Barton became an educator in 1838 and served for 12 years in schools in Canada and West Georgia. Barton fared well as a teacher. She knew how to handle children, particularly the boys, since as a child she enjoyed her boy cousins and brothers' company. She learned how to act like them, making it easier for her to relate to and control the boys in her care. In 1852, she was contracted to open a free school in Bordentown, which was the first ever free school in New Jersey. She was successful, and after a year she had hired another woman to help teach over 600 people. Both women were making $250 a year. This accomplishment compelled the town to raise nearly $4,000 for a new school building. A stamp with a portrait of Barton and an image of the American Red Cross symbol was issued in 1948. Barton was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 1973. Barton was featured in 1995 in a set of U.S. stamps commemorating the Civil War. In 2019, Barton was announced as one of the members of the inaugural class of the Government Executive Magazine's Government Hall of Fame. Exhibits in the East Wing of the third floor, 3 East, of the National Museum of American History are focused on the United States at war. The Clara Barton Red Cross ambulance was at one point the signature artifact there but is no longer on display. The school in the Disney show Sydney to the Max is named Clara Barton Middle School. Clara Barton was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame in 2008.